Yeah, anytime that there's a quote-unquote jungle difference, a lot of people start to, get a little bit upset about it. What you can do to kind of counteract that if there is a disparity in the jungle is play for lane, right? So if you have strong laners, picking champions that are going to be matchup dependent, like winning lanes and just hard pushing a lot of times, they can counteract a lot of the pressure that the jungle can exert because as soon as he is seen, they can rotate faster.
First band coming through, it is going to be a Morgana. Kind of surprising, not something that Rolexus typically plays. He's more of an aggressive roaming or just straight up just in your face support player. Likes the Pike, likes the Bards. The Morgana's a little bit surprising. We see a response of Riven directed towards Fat Booty in the mid lane, as well as Zoe towards Wally.
Riven right now is a very strong pick in general with the Conqueror update. She can be played in the top or mid or even sometimes jungle, but knowing lolersa, he's not really a Riven player. He's more of he's a flex from a support. It looks like Unicorn took that over for him to kind of level out their team comp, but also response to the Zoe, I'm kind of curious. I guess Wally does play it, but it's not one of his top picks.
It is certainly a pick that he has been having to practice, given that his ear's a little bit further out of meta. Since he's actually dropped the Vel'Koz, his mid lane pool, it's wide in the sense that now he doesn't have those like big glaring picks that he's super strong on, but he's still solid on a lot of other picks. Although I will say he does have that one solid Azir game they did play a while ago, went 14-2
I saw that.
and 11.
That was interesting. I was kind of confused when I saw the screenshot, how he got that strong. I just wanted to make a quick reference. Now that I'm not coaching the Intramural League for Wally, he is not stuck on Lysandra duty as he was so complaining about during our ULO matches.
Well, I will say, I hope he doesn't go back towards the Rise. That is one pick that hasn't worked for him, but he's been very willing and open to pick. Not very strong performances, not strong CS numbers, not strong KD numbers. He needs to have something that really can influence the map and have something where he can be solid there and absorb pressure, because when he goes onto something like those farm back champions, then that's when we see the jungle and then the roaming games start to fall apart for them.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know Yuuna's champ pool, but first picking the Lulu and instantly countered with the Thresh, I think that's a really good move by Worshippers of H, knowing that the enemy bottom lane is probably their weakest lane just as far as elo goes. So picking a high impact support like Thresh that has a lot of pick potential against a more scaling slow immobile bot lane with the Jinx and Lulu, I think that's a great pickup.
Yeah, and then we see, of course, the Warwick come through. That's one of LyndsayBobinski's favorite champions, something that she's very comfortable on.
Excellent.
Trademark, yeah. I mean, it's something where she's going to be able to be solid on and make plays if she's allowed to do it. Whereas we see the Jinx here getting drafted for CrustyFartMilker, likely going on DarkScorpion, as well as the Sion, which we have seen UF lolersa play quite a bit so far.
Going back to that topic about Ian being flexed into the top role, he's not really known to play the high mechanical bruisers, more of the tanks and the just the front lines. So Sion, a great pickup for him. Let's see what Wally counters with, and he is going to go Darude's favorite. Oh, he switches at last second.
Oh no, he's not. He locks in the Kaisa for Tironas. We have the entire bot lane of Worshippers of H. The only thing that is not known are the solo lanes, and being that they are the red side, they have the ultimate last pick counter pick. We'll see which lane they decide to go and use that for. It'll likely be for the mid lane, but of course they have options.
So Karth is banned in the second rotation of the draft here, starting up for Worshippers of Age. Not really confident. I know that it's not for mid, it's actually for CrustyFartMilker, because he is known to play that in the jungle. But having the mid lane open for Fat Booty and having that Sion early pick, I'm really curious if Worshippers of Age ban the Orianna last pick here, because that is something he's known for.
He has also had a few games on the Xerath, which he has been very impactful on and is able to absorb a lot of pressure with. So he's got a few options, but overall, it's a very immobile mid lane. So you kind of have to wonder if Worshippers of H are going to go towards a very roam-heavy comp and try to do a lot to affect the map around the mid lane, given that that mid-jungle synergy is going to be very, very strong and really lock down the middle portion of the map for not allowed to lose.
Yeah, having those, like you said, the early pick with the Thresh and the Warwick, if Warwick can get the 6 kind of unscathed, I'm interested to see, because like you said, they're so immobile on the blue side that if they can get 1 or 2 picks, it might actually be something that they can work with.
No, the final few bans that came through, I'm actually going to go back to about the last 3 bans for each team. It was the Nami directed towards Unicorn. That's a champion she's played a lot of. Although with the Lulu pick, it's already picked up. It's kind of questionable to me to have wasted the ban on that. Actually, no, sorry, that was the 3rd ban. I'm kidding. So they did that in the first rotation, in which the response was the Lulu. And then to get the Karthus and Ivern bans directed both towards CrustyFartMilker, both of two champions where he has a high impact on. The responses for Not Allowed to Lose were the Lucian in the last ban phase directed towards Tironas, one of the main carries worshippers, as well as the Silas and the Azir, both directed towards
I'm
Wally.
interested to see if he picks Kha'zix here into the Ornn. He's known to play Kha'zix in the jungle, and looks like he is going to lock it in there. So, not the best.
How'd you know that? There's no script.
High level of analysis here. But you know, the thing that he was probably contemplating was that there is technically going to be 2 tanks. Kha'zix will really have to focus on the Kai'Sa in whatever mid lanes pick. But having those 3 semi-tanky with the Thresh, Warwick, and Ornn, Kha'zix is going to be a very, very high impact champion, but it could also not hit the mark if he doesn't get ahead early. And he does lock in the Orianna last pick, as we predicted there, for the middle lane. Great synergy with Sion going in and balling, as well as even Kha'zix jumping in. So great rounded out comp here for the blue side.
Now, if you are Wally, I guess you do have a few options which he can go towards for picking. Has played Irelia before, and he has also played the Taliyah. It's a champion that he has done very well on. Another high impact early game champion, as well as early mid game. Great roam potential across all of Worshippers of Age here. The Taliyah being able to move around, of course, with the Weaver's Wall. Kai'Sa with a great dash. Thresh being a high impact bottom lane champion, which can go and roam and affect that middle lane, which is a low mobility Orianna, as well as the Ornn for a long range gank and just engage potential. It seems like Worshippers of Age are set up to be able to make moves around them.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely a more pick oriented comp. Their front to back is strong because they have such tanky frontline. However, the blue side's comp just has such great scaling with the Ori, Jinx, and Lulu in the backline that unless they get something going early, they might actually just get outscaled on that. And then if Kha'Zix jumps in, we need to see Rolexus play kind of more of a peel-oriented support on the Thresh rather than a engage, because we don't want to see that Kha'Zix get really fed.
But that being said, it doesn't really matter which team gets ahead, but whichever team that does get ahead, both teams seem like they have the tools to start fights and be able to keep pressing a lead. And really, it seems like whichever team does come out ahead here in the early game, or maybe even in the bit of the mid game, should be the team that can really put down their foot on the gas and accelerate this towards a closeout very easily.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at from that view, I definitely think Worshippers of Age have actually a more rotating and siege oriented comp because of the fact that they have such mobility with the Taliyah as well. So if they get a good push and can squeeze out the vision on a blue or red side and force fights in the enemy jungle, I think that's definitely where Taliyah and the crew will shine.
Now, big question for you, since you're Mr. Big Brains here, Mr. Analysis back in the days. Which lane are you kind of most excited for, and which lane is something to really be worried about right now?
Yeah, so if I'm playing on the blue side here, with not afford to lose? Is that the name?
Not allowed to lose.
If I'm not allowed to lose here,
yeah, it's kind of like the 4.
I'm definitely looking to snowball my bottom lane. I know that that's my weakest lane in terms of elo, but if I can get the Jinx ahead early, it's going to be a very hard to get her to stop snowballing. So if I'm looking as Kha'Zix, I'm looking to probably start red side and do bottom crab and look for an early gank bot, and then I'm looking to just play mainly around bot side. The Sion versus Ornn matchup won't get a lot done there. They're both very tanky, so really just looking for counter jungling and ganking towards the mid bot side. So I'd expect him to hang around his red side jungle for most of the early game. Now, if I'm on the other team, what I'm looking to do is get LyndsayBobinski to level 6 ASAP. So I'm looking for a hard clear and do a full map clear of her jungle, and then probably level 3 gank top is what I'm looking to do, just because she's not going to have anything else starting on the blue, and trying to just counter gank wherever Kha'zix shows up on the map bottom side. Really trying to favor the Taliyah because if Taliyah gets behind, then they're going to open up the middle of the map, and that's going to cause a lot of room for Kha'zix to get better ganks off on bot. So
Now, a big question mark for me is as we already foreshadowed, was the jungle matchup. You mentioned LyndsayBobinski here wants to farm up till 6 and be able to get that ultimate available, but has not done well with responding to a lot of early jungle pressure. Is that something where CrustyFartMilker can really abuse on a Kha'zix, or is it something where the Warwick is still strong enough early to repel any of that pressure?
it really depends on where he gets her at. If she's doing a camp and he gets her on the camp, she'll probably have to concede the camp, and that's just a slow kind of constriction by Kha'zix. However, if the red side team gets good vision early and they react, because they do have stronger pushing lanes, I believe, in the sense that Taliyah can basically push from level 1, and bot lane is not going to be pushed in. Kai'Sa doesn't push as fast as Jinx, but so basically they get the mid prior every time, and hopefully Wally and Warwick or Lindsay can apply pressure as 2. If they can do that, then I definitely think then they can shove Kha'Zix off the early jungle pressure, like you mentioned.
A big thing for me is another thing we mentioned was the bottom lane. The fact that it seems like the not allowed to lose bottom lane is the lower elo of everyone on the team, and it's probably the more susceptible lane. We know that Assassinbug, not necessarily known as a mechanical player, but does actually do a lot with the TPs and a lot of the strategic parts of the game, which is where he kind of shines and is more of a value pick. So possibly we can see those 4, even 5-man bottoms.
Yeah.
And possibly that can be the way for Worshippers of H to ultimately win.
It could turn into a 5-man bot very easily in this game early on. And if it does, it's basically going to be a toss-up about who gets the TP off first, I believe. I think Ornn has a better team fight scenario in lane, with his ult being more long range and less committal, meaning that Sion basically has to dive to hit his ult versus Ornn getting a knock up from the distance. So definitely something to look out for. I agree.
So as things start out, we pretty much have a standard fan here from Worshippers of H. We know that's something that Assassinbug likes to preach, is preventing the jungle invades early, or at least knowing where they are coming from. Not allowed to lose zone. A little bit less standard, although they're kind of stacking up in case they decide to go for a little bit of a poke trade. CrustyFartMilker positioned around the Raptors. I don't think he'll start that first, but it's an option.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get that bot lane leash.
So something just from a competitive standpoint that I always recommend teams do. You'll see here the Orianna sitting in the middle lane. It gives information, but it doesn't really give any information about the jungle. So what I recommend teams doing is, if you're doing a standard fan, is actually put your jungle in the middle lane and put your mid laner and top on the top 2 brushes. Therefore you cover all 5, and then Jinx and Lulu can cover the bottom 2 brushes. And then you really don't know, you have to assume where Kha'zix is going to start. But if someone had invaded and seen Kha'zix on that brush behind red, they would have assumed he started red side. And just not really a huge bit of information, but just a little hint or tip to give teams.
It's basically getting information without having to expend a ward, or being able to say, hey, you use something to get that.
Right, because if he's on the bot side, you can assume. If he's in the middle of the lane, in the mid lane, you don't know if he's going top or bot. So pretty cool little bit there. So get some early trades on in the top lane. Sion losing those out actually with the font on the Ornn coming into play there.
Actually, Assassinbug playing pretty far forward there, doing good to hit those.
The first hook.
Early hook missing out from Rolexus. Kind of unfortunate. As well as a flay. Might as well say that too.
Look, it's early on a Sunday, right? He's warming up still. He's got to come online at some point.
Well, you better do it soon. This is only a best of 3 series, and you don't want to fall behind 1-0, because that just feels horrible going into the rest of everything. We've only actually had one series so far go to
Really?
full distance in
Oh
the
my
3
gosh.
games. Only one. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by it as well, but that's just kind of that's kind of what happens after you win that first game. It is a lot of momentum, and it is hard to kind of stop.
Oh, and the smite steal from...
There's actually a huge fight here. Wally landing the seismic shove. Drop CrustyFartMilker pretty low there. He'll be forced to back off. LyndsayBobinski will get a little bit more pressure on the map, and Thresh is burnt by both top laners. Also burnt it first. Assassinbug maybe should have just waited a little bit, or at least just burnt it first. Get the auto going, but instead will just be a trade of flashes.
Yeah, but
lolersa should be forced
great
back.
pressure from Worshippers of Age across the board. You know, getting the jungle there, and then also just applying a lot of pressure in the top side. Assassinbug, they're really winning the trades against Sion early. Very, very well played. Bot lane getting the slow push here.
Hit on
Yeah,
minion.
slow push on bot side here for Jinx and Lulu. We expected that. They have the better push early. If they then they in about 2 waves, so we'll see what happens. Looks like they're not going to be able to bounce it.
No, Rolexus is really looking for these hooks too down here. He is a very aggressive player, really looking to make his impact early, force the opponents onto a back foot rather than just getting up to a point where they are stronger. A couple early hooks have missed out for him, unfortunately. Mid lane, though, something that is kind of surprising for me is the CS difference there. Although Wally did take the early back, and it's likely why he is down to 10 CS, but significant amount early.
Yeah, he's on tower right now, catching that whole wave. It'll be basically within 1 or 2 variants, so not really anything too crazy. He misses a couple there, so he's only going to get 26 of 29, but it's all right. Still pushing in the bottom lane. You can see Jinx only taking the rocket form there, getting the AoE, also expending mana to pick the Thresh early. And Sion, ooh, Assassinbug cancels the channel with that Q forward. Very good play there. Or E.
We actually have a 2-sided fight over here. It's actually lolersa that gets the first one on the top side. Assassinbug saying a bit too long.
There. Great ignite.
And ignite down here. It's a CrustyFartMilker that actually turns around this bottom lane gank. With the counter gank, and across the board it's a 1-for-0 in both lanes. There's only a 2-for-0 overall. Assassinbug and LyndsayBobinski taking the early deaths.
Yeah, Tironas held the heal there. I don't think he was confident in hitting the Warwick with it, but no sums bot lane for the blue side. Very unfortunate that they got counter ganked there. Well played by CrustyFartMilker. And a trade back here.
Assassinbug
might actually blow the ult to get away.
Yeah, lolersa has it. He's holding on to it for quite a long time. Won't actually burn it. Assassinbug with the early death, though, up there, just because he overstayed. lolersa had backed, had full health, full mana. Assassinbug hadn't actually done so yet either.
Yeah, just expended it.
Just a bit of a miscalculation.
And that's something that you talked about in the champ select. You know, whoever gets TP advantage. So lolersa resets first, gets the TP off, and Ornn kind of greeds a little bit for the CS and gold and stays and doesn't actually get his TP off in time. Now he's stuck in a behind situation slightly. And wow, lolersa actually ulting back to the lane to get there in time for the wave to crash. Pretty, you know, early on like this, it's not that big of a deal.
Nice seismic shove there in the mid lane. Wally drops Fat Booty to about 1/3 HP, but potion will be popped and he'll be just fine in that lane. Wally, though, significant CS disadvantage
to lose
still.
out in the CS after that roam bot. Definitely hurt him. I really wanted to mention too, just the Taliyah pick in general. I think it's actually a great pick into Kha'zix because it'll stop him from really being able to jump on him with the Taliyah E there.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, the
rock
stupid
field.
rock field. That's annoying. That's
Ooh, but that's a nice shockwave there, and ignite.
Good
Fat
pick.
Booty will pick up that early kill on LyndsayBobinski.
Yeah, hard to path through that side there when there's really nothing for her to take. So with mid not having cryo, really just can't have to respect that side push. Some trading on it top.
Early on, Worshippers of Age finding themselves in early deficit, down 3 kills to 0. Gold lead is only about 1,000, so nothing insurmountable, but the pressure, though, feels way, way greater than what the current lead says.
Yeah, definitely getting lane prio in all 3 lanes at this point. Top lane is pushing towards red side. Mid lane gets the reset off here, and You know, like we said, I really wanted to see the Warwick just farm to 6. She's died twice already.
Ooh, but Assassinbug going in here on top, and he actually
Oh,
solo kills
excellent play
lolersa.
there. Great, he landed the ult
play.
perfectly. The flash was not up yet for Sion, so really no escape route there. Great play overall.
There's a little bit though of that lane pressure going back in the favor of Worshippers of H. Got something now to build off of. A little bit of positivity, see whether or not they can spearhead another play and get the ball rolling just a little bit more.
Yeah, so Warwick here opting to skip wolves. I don't really agree with that, being that she's halfway to 6 right now. I think she should be looking for a full clear and just looking for the ult level 6. I don't think she would actually hit 6 off of these 2 camps. She would probably have to hit the 2 camps and then leech a little bit from mid or bot. So CrustyFartMilker just hit 6 and has that evolve available to him now, whereas we're falling a little bit behind in the jungle on the CS. So we'll see what happens. I really want to see that Warwick ult play for the next gank. I think that's going to make or break the mid game for them. Good hook. Oh, gets the lantern. Doesn't decide to go in. Probably the right call. No vision of Tri-Brush for red side. Kha'zix hasn't been on the map in a while. Doesn't want to fully commit with Warwick not ready to counter.
LyndsayBobinski here has her blue buff coming up, so she decides to take it. Might be able to hit 6 off, but CrustyFartMilker is actually going to go in here on the mid lane. Wally is forced to flash early, and there's a command shockwave, and there's nothing he can do. Early kill goes towards CrustyFartMilker on this Kha'zix.
Yep. Yeah, he got a little bit bamboozled there by the invisible, and you know, instantly flashed, but Fat Booty held ult smartly to wait for him to blow the flash so that he could land it for a free CC. Easy pickup.
Oh, and we have a counter gank up here. Or sorry, a jungle invade.
Half health off of
looks like the Warwick down a couple levels. Not much he can do here. The Fear's Burn doesn't actually land CC. Oh, but there's a great roam up here. And Kaisa is going to get that early kill as well. That's a maybe not a shutdown. I didn't quite see, but nice kill going here onto Tironas on the Kaisa. And maybe now the Kaisa can get something going in the bot
really
lane.
Great pickup there. Definitely what Warwick needed to come back in the game. Also time the Kha'zix flash there. So, and that just really just stemmed off of bot lane having prio. So they got that push off early. Were able to rotate on the invade faster, and only expended heal for the 80 carry really to get to make that play work at the cost of Kha'zix flash. I think that's a great trade.
LyndsayBobinski finally hitting 6 on his work. Oh, nice double play on the bottom side.
I like this.
My thoughts are going everywhere. Oh, Fat Booty's up in the top lane, and Sion on Assassinbug can actually get away from this. Burns the flash.
Yeah, that's a good flash there. No ult on Fat Booty yet, but he probably wouldn't have known that. I like the call by red side, Worshippers of H, to instantly go for drag after killing the Kha'zix and Lindsay hitting 6. Early pickup on the Water Drake is really important.
Uh-oh, Wally is going to get blown up here.
Yeah, it doesn't look
there he goes.
Caught sleeping there, doesn't really see the angle that he came from, kind of reacted a little bit late to that. Just really no vision around mid. Something that I've been working with him on in general is just warding around the mid lane before roaming. Can't really step out of lane without vision there. So.
And the big thing there too is that pink ward sitting there on the bottom side of mid. Ooh, shockwave.
Blows the shockwave. High risk, high reward there. Doesn't get the reward this time. Oh,
ooh, but hook lands on the unicorn here. That's gonna be all in. Oh, he hits the flare. The flash. Ignite is burned. Unicorn goes down. That's that kill for Tironas. Based on a DarkScorpion. See why not they keep going. No, they don't, because there's a TP coming in. Yeah, lolersa's down here as well. Tironas can see when they can outplay.
We still have the Taliyah ult available in the Sion or the Ornn TP. Wow, Jinx ult hits. We'll see if he's able to go in here. Starts the ult channel.
Nice Ornn ult here to see if he can't get the kill. Heals burnt. Yeah, he gets one kill there. It went back to mid lane. Wally is down again as well.
It's a 2v1 in the bot, but they're both low. See what happens here. That Bammy Cinder just burning him down. Yeah, and honestly, you know, Kha'zix camping the middle lane there, always a good call. Notice he doesn't have sums from the first gank. And Wally just really not playing to respect there. Always looking to trade and not just wave clearing like Taliyah is good at. So it's going to be a first tower going down here for blue side.
Oh, LyndsayBobinski needs to get out of here. Yeah, she will. It'll be fine. First blood tower. We'll go over to the Kha'zix. Getting further and further ahead. Currently 3-1. Now has 150 gold bounty on his head. Meanwhile, Tironas actually ahead here on the bottom lane. It should be something that Worship of H should now just be playing around. Wally probably just needs to go back to playing a little bit safer, just CSing as much as he can and calling out the Orianna roams. maybe expressing his voice more so than his actual physical presence on the map.
Yeah, it's with mid tower going down this early, the macro in general, you can do a couple of things. Knowing that your Kai'Sa is going to be, you know, your win condition in the mid game, looking to play around her, I would probably, knowing that Dragon is not going to be up, the next objective is probably going to be Rift Herald. I would put Taliyah in the bottom lane and just have her soak up XP basically and not die, and put the Kai'Sa in the mid lane with Thresh constantly roaming so that Kai'Sa gets solo XP and can get that early advantage in the mid game here, and also be able to rotate to the Rift Herald for the next objective. It'd also throw off blue side a little bit, not expecting that type of macro rotation.
I actually see Assassinbug here going aggressive on the trade, but lolersa is extending it. Fat Booty is up here. Shockwave is burnt. A nice little double knockup, and lolersa will pick up that kill himself. We saw Wally actually rotate down towards the bottom side, didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it hasn't
I
really
don't think he was spotted
yet.
either.
Needs to definitely use it to roam. The Orianna's getting some great roams off here, starting with that first pick on Warwick at the top side pixel brush. So definitely exerting dominance here, and still ahead by about 20 CS. So Kha'zix looking to 1v1.
Wally's not going to get jumped on here by Kha'zix yet again.
I guess the chilling smite is so crucial in that mid game. He did have flash, but he held it. Lands the hook.
It's a nice hook land on DarkScorpion. He's actually able to follow it despite the traps. Lulu ult is burned. DarkScorpion trying to run away here, but they're seeing Knight dropped onto Yuuna Korn. That's one kill. Oh, nice hook again. Lands on the Jinx. That's a double kill for Tironas. He's 4-1.
Yeah, really well played there by Rolexus or Dex to recognize that the Lulu was going to go down and change targets to Jinx right away to get that second pickup. Tironas, you know, obviously right clicking like a beast, Thresh enabling him. So I think at this point, if I'm red team, I'm saying, hey guys, I'm really strong. My mid lane is pretty weak right now. Let's just play around me, and I need to be in the mid lane to get that pressure and look for that early team fight with Kai'Sa damage.
And again,
in the jungle,
we just see CrustyFartMilker exerting his will everywhere.
Great splash with
Another missed shockwave.
It's not bad if you're Warwick, you get the flash out of Kha'zix, but
Ignite is burned by Fat Booty. He'll pick up Assassinbug. So the entire map is falling down except for just that bottom lane. But it doesn't seem like Worshippers of H can do anything with that one lead that they have, and not exactly moving anywhere with it.
Yeah, CrustyFartMilker really taking over the top side of the map. Gets a good pick on Jinx again. Like we said, this is really what red side is looking to do every time. That scaling bot with no mobility from blue team, just really not able to react to that hook with no vision on the try.
And Wally is bottom side yet again. Doesn't actually get anything off that. And even if he went to the bush, that was warded. We see Fat Booty though converging actually here on the bottom side. Well, looks like Worshippers of H will be out just fine.
Yeah, he's sitting on a lot of gold there on the 80 carry, and definitely wants to get the back instead of going for the dragon play. I think that's probably what they were considering. They had the pick on Jinx and could have gone for dragon, but yeah, he picked up almost an entire rage blade on his back, so pretty good.
A big question for me is that first item Storm Razor. Ever since it got changed, it's been known to not be a first item pickup anymore. Instead more of like a third or fourth item, but he picks it up first. What's the advantages of that?
So actually, despite that being true on Kai'Sa on this patch, it's actually pretty much entirely meta to only go that first item on her. For a few reasons. It does in fact give her the ability to go the upgraded Q and E fast, because it gives both attack speed and attack damage. Oh, trade in the mid here. Gets the 100-0 on the Taliyah with no flash.
He was 1v3 there. Everything kind of just misses out as far as the CC. And on the bottom side, LyndsayBobinski down here, flash forward by the Jinx, is going to pick up one. Tironas goes down as well. CrustyFartMilker now exerting his lead on the bottom side, but flash forward. Rolexus hits the play, doesn't hit the hook. Fat Booty is going to pick up that one, and everything's falling apart now for Worshippers of H within the last minute or two. It's 15 kills to 7. Every single outer turret is down. And this is already a 5,500 gold lead.
Yeah, not looking too good. A couple of bad plays just combined in a row there. Also, just want to point out some great mechanical ability by the blue side. You'll notice the Lulu ulting Kha'zix as he jumps to get that double knockup on the bot lane and and really kind of messes up the Warwick ultimate and Kai'Sa's ability to deal damage. And then, yeah, Orianna at this point with the Morello completed as well as the Ludens, just able to 100-0 Wally without him reacting to the ultimate. Looking kind of bleak here.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Worshippers of H, you're just trying to stop these picks at this point. There's not too much they can do outside of possibly Tironas and Rolexus making a play together on top of an Ornn ultimate. But other than that, there's not too many options. As we can start to see their entire jungle getting counter jungled here. LyndsayBobinski chugged out already by Fat Booty. The shockwave will land, and that's a 2v3.
Wow.
And oh my goodness, Fat Booty just picks up that one. Wally goes down as well. That's a double kill already. And here's another one. That's Rolexus picking up Fat Booty though this time. But Assassinbug goes down as well. Jump forward by CrustyFartMilker. Healed, and no, it'll be lolersa that picks up Rolexus, and that's a 4-for-1. And basically a 3v4.
Yeah, not the best move there. If I'm red side, I'm looking to group ASAP and try to get a better group on it. Wally goes down again without blowing either summoner. Kind of alarming there if I'm him, because I'm looking to play another screen back and just press Q from a distance. But at this point, with the Kha'zix being as fed as he is and the Orianna being as fed as she is, very difficult to even contest in a close 3v3 or 4v4 scenario.
19 kills to 8, 19 minutes in. This gold lead swelling above 7k. The red buff will go over to DarkScorpion.
No, he actually stole it back and took it to Kha'zix, unfortunately. Oh. Well, it probably wasn't unfortunate to Thomas, but DarkScorpion's a little bit upset. Ooh.
No, I can't exactly blame CrustyFartMilker. Come on, take that away. He's 8-1 on the Kha'zix compared to the 1-3 Jinx. Although you like to help out the Jinx as much as you can, it feels like CrustyFartMilker has had just every single ability every single time he's wanted just to impact the game in any way.
As a jungle player myself, I would definitely have made the decision to take that as if I'm Kha'zix there too. So no hard feelings, Jinx.
Adam in the chat being a little cheeky here. Damn, N42L. Playing like they have a high elo advantage. Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. It's kind of true, in a way. I'd say it's mostly around that jungle matchup. In the top lane, we actually saw Assassinbug early kill lolersa and actually give him a really tough time in that lane. But the mid lane seemed to fall on apart, which should have been kind of a little bit more even for Worshippers of H. But this bottom lane, actually more in favor of Worshippers of H, and has actually exceeded that way. And that's a third fail jump by CrustyFartMilker over a wall on Kha'zix.
Hey man, if you don't upgrade that thing early, it's not as big as you think, okay? It's more like a dash than even a leap. Looking for Warwick, really unfortunate. She doesn't have any jungle to farm.
And he's gone.
So she's relegated to kind of just walk around like that and look for vision. But blue side really choking out their enemy red side jungle here for the last 3 minutes, making it hard.
And the Baron started up. This thing's melting. It's down to half. Oh my! Another shockwave lands and Wally's gone.
There.
It's a 3v5. Ornn comes through. No steal there.
Close.
It'll be picked up by CrustyFartMilker. Good smite.
Yep.
And they're gonna reset.
Has to drop the Rift Herald because it's gonna expire mid, so they're probably not gonna reset yet. They want to use this Rift Herald to at least get the mid T2 down.
Oh, Rift Herald plus Baron. This is gonna be a lot. I feel like.
Yeah, they're sitting on a lot of gold here, but I mean it is a 5v4, and they want to get these 2 towers down.
Yeah, and they should actually even be able to easily get this, if not even also the inhib. I feel like there might be a last-ditch fight coming through. Lolersa actually burning the ultimate forward. That's going to be the Assassinbug on the Ornn going down. The Weaver's Wall is going to split. Map up just a little bit more. Tironas trying to kite away with the Kai'Sa, forced to flash out. It'll be Wally. He'll pick up another death as well. 0 and 8. And everything is just going to plan here.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to lose. They're actually going to try to end the game here with the Rift Herald.
Wally leaves the game there. Not the best manner. Didn't react again. Held his flash for the 3rd death in a row. I'm not sure why he's not using it. And they get
see a couple more cleanup kills here, and it's going to be the Nexus. A really fast one, actually. About 22:36 will be the game time. I don't know about you, but my player of the game is going to go to CrustyFartMilker.
Yeah, that you know, getting that mid snowball early on really impacted the map, not just for the jungle, but also for Fat Booty there. And then, as if you saw the best example of closing out a game, I think they executed pretty nicely on choking out red side jungle and forcing bad decisions